Welcome to the Array 1D Part 2 video for arrays. Yeah. Okay, so my name is Ryan. I'm a computer science teacher, and this is the JavaDog series. We are in Part 2. We're going to start making a program, so hopefully you picked up some of the basics from the first video. If you didn't, go back, check it out. It's going to give you some underlying knowledge on what you need to know to start cranking out some arrays. We're going to make a pretty simple program. However, it'll seem kind of complex if you're, it's at the first time. Everything seems a little harder the first time you ever played. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to type and paste out the code. I've already completed the program. However, some people requested that I do more of a step-by-step process instead of just showing you the complete code. So I thought it was a good idea. I've done this multiple times. I'm always open to suggestions. Try it out and see what works best. Okay, so first thing you need to put in your program, we're going to import these three packages. We're going to get the scanner, so that way we can get some information coming into us. Input mismatch exception, just in case we enter the wrong information in, letters instead of integers or whatever. That way we can catch those exception errors and handle them appropriately. Then right here, the random class, so that way we can make some random numbers. Okay, if you have not done so, go to File, Save As, and make sure you have yourself a folder, some sort of location. I don't know where mine is. I got all sorts of stuff. Whoa, that's actually a book I was writing. Where's my Java files? There we go. Java lessons. Mine's under Java 1D RPG generator. I didn't tell you. We're going to make a simple come on. There we go. And this is called video copy. So I'm going to put the video copies. So make sure you give it the same file name as your class name. So the file name is monster, and that's what we're going to call it. If I click on save, and let's go ahead and type in our class name, public class monster. And this is going to be a class object.
Arrays store list of information.
And we're going to create a kind of a test drive program here in a minute that's going to create these objects. But before we do that, we want to build out a monster class. So we're going to create this little RPG game, nothing super serious. We'll build on as we go through arrays and some other stuff. But I wanted to kind of do something a little bit different, have a little bit of fun with you. So let's go ahead and put these variables right up here. And we're going to create these 5 variables. We're going to have a protected integer called health, which has a value of 1. Then we have a regular integer called luck, strength. Then here, one called rand monster num. Then a protected string called name. Remember, string is capitalized because that's a class. Okay, now none of these are arrays, but don't worry, we'll get to those in a second. Okay, and just so you know, what we're going to do is health. That's going to keep track of the health of the monster. Luck will be a number that we use for a percent to assist the
arrays store list of information
monster on lucky things happening, such as being able to put more damage on other characters, or maybe they have a lucky lottery ticket number that they can win something with. Strength. That'd be kind of like their health. We'll create a number for that. We'll randomly generate that as well. Random monster num. We're going to use that as kind of like a value position to kind of determine what their particular number is for them. It's kind of like a temporary holding number. And then we'll give each one of these monsters a name. Okay, this will make more sense once we build it out. Okay. Next, we want to create a scanner. It's going to be called input1, just like the last program. Then we'll have a random object called random1. Remember, these are the names of the objects. Okay, input1 is the name of the scanner object. We have to use the word new because it's a new object. Okay, same thing with random1. It's part of the random class right here. Next, we want to, you're going to love this. This is it. You've been waiting for it. All right, get ready. If you haven't smashed that subscribe button, just smash it down right now, because we are making our first array. There it is. Okay, we just did it. We made a protected string monster class cache array. Okay, I use the word cache because it makes me feel good about myself, and I love using it. These are square braces. You can't really tell because I got the bold font on for the Arial font. I did that so you could identify ones and L's a little bit better than with the last serif font I was using. So if you don't know what serif and sans serif is, you might want to look that up. Okay, so monster class cache, this array is going to have 5 values. Okay, so it's going to have a indices range of 0 to 4. Okay, so these are the 4 types of monsters. If you want to change the names of those, you're more than welcome to. If you think any of these aren't monsters, you're more than welcome to change those as well. Okay, next down here, protected string monster class type. That's just going to be a value that we're going to use to temporarily store a position, and we'll show you what we use that for. Right now, all you need to know, it's a string. It's called the monster class type, and we'll use it to store its class type based upon a random generation. It's going to be a lot of fun. Okay. Next, we want to create. You ready for this one? Here it comes again. Bam! You get to make another array. Okay. This one's going to be another string array called weapons cache, and these are the particular weapons that we'll store within this array. Okay. Again, temporary kind of name holding position for this particular monster right here. And once you go ahead and answer this on your own in your head, how many items are in the array and what's the indices range? Okay, so sword would be 0 and it would go all the way to 5, okay, for bad breath, and there's 6 values. Next, and just so you know, I don't play RPG games, so if you're really, really good at RPG games and you're thinking that I'm butchering the whole RPG genre, I apologize. All right, right here, the next array we'll create is another string. It's called power color cache, okay? And I assign it 3 values, red, blue, and green, okay? So we're just going to create these different colors. Again, we use that for some sort of random generalization. I thought of colors being assigned to the different monsters because in psychology we use a lot of color coordination for different personality types. So I thought, you know, it'd be fun. We kind of color coordinate our monsters with these, and we could, you know, cross associate with some sort of, you know, cognitive position of the particular monster. Okay, so I never told you I was almost had a degree in psychology. Anyhow, let's go next to, I'm not a psychologist, just for the record. Okay, I don't ever subscribe to be one or say that I am one. I have read a book about psychology. Next, ranking cache. Okay, again, this is another array. Here, arrays. Roar. We're going to put in integer values, and it goes from 1 to 10. Okay, 1 is at the 0 position, and 10 is at the 9 position. Remember, 0 for the first one, 9 for the last one. You'll forget it. Hopefully not, but if you do, that's okay. All right, and again, we have a protected integer right here called ranking. We'll use that to store it for the individual monster. Okay, I think now we're going to create our constructor for the monster. So we are going to have a empty constructor called public monster. And let's go ahead and close out that curly brace so we don't forget it further on down the code here. And we want to go ahead and get that monster's name. And we're going to do that by using a get the scanner to input some string values to the monster object right here. So we'll tell them to enter the name of your monster, and then we'll use the scanner object right here to get that information. Next, this is where things start getting interesting. We're going to, I apologize for just copy and pasting, but it's a lot better than my typing. Typing and talking is really, really, really hard. If you haven't tried doing it, I'd recommend you give it a shot one time. It's something to experience. Okay, so luck, the luck variable. It's going to use the random object, and we're going to get an integer value from 0 to 99. and they'll be assigned to the luck value. Then we'll do the same thing with strength. We'll get a random value and assign it to that number as well. And remember, the main goal of all this isn't to make a commercial-ready RPG game. It's to teach you about arrays. Okay, this was the funnest thing I could think of that didn't involve graphics. Graphics in Java is a little tedious at this point in time. Okay, our next one here, we're going to take our monster class cache. We're going to get the length of it, okay, which is from right up here. Okay, it has a length of, what is that, 5? Okay, so we're going to get the value 5 and assign it to random monster num. Okay, that number, that sounds silly when I say num. Where did I put that at? Okay, so random monster num, which was right up here. I forgot to go higher. Okay, it's a protected integer right here. Okay, we didn't assign a value, but we did initialize it, and we're going to assign it the length of the monster class cache. And then right here, this is pretty fancy right here, we're going to take the monster class cache array, and inside of that array, okay, we're going to call the random object and use the next integer and use the length of the class cache, which we got from right up here on line 36, and subtract 1 from it. Remember, we don't want to go beyond the actual length, because if there's 5 positions, it's going to get that index value, because this is an array. Remember, we're in the curly or the square braces right here. So we're going to take whatever monster class cache index value is from this random number generation right here and assign it to the monster class type. Okay, so if we ran this program, it's going to randomly assign a value to this monster class type right here. Okay, so it can be anything from 0 to 4 based upon this random number generation right here. So if it picked a number 0 right here, that's going to be the index value of 0, which means it'll be a troll. Okay, now I hope you're not trolling me with some negative comments. And now we want to get a random weapon. Okay, so our monsters are all going to be randomized. Now we could have developed this where we selected all the different values, but I thought it'd be better for you to see some random generation right here, just because it's a little bit more difficult than actually having to go through and select things. Okay, and it's also kind of cool nesting all this stuff. It makes you feel good. All right, so weapon cache length, same process. We're getting the length of the weapon cache, which right up here was a total of what, 6? It's a length of 6. And then we're assigning it to the random monster number. Then down here inside the weapon cache array, which you remember, we had the weapon cache array right here, okay? We're taking that array, and we're taking the random object and creating a random number -1, so we don't create an array index out of bounds exception error right here. And it's going to give us a random integer value for this array that will assign a random number for, or excuse me, a random weapon type for this particular monster that we'll create here in the near future. Next, let's see. If we randomize weapons and monster types, we might as well randomize colors, right? And it's good for you to see this, okay? Just get used to embedding all this particular type of code within arrays. It just shows you the versatility of these particular objects. So the monster color type, same concept. We're just going through its array, getting a random number, subtracting 1. And this one, I do things a little bit different. Okay, I wanted you to check this out. All right. What's the difference between the one I have on line 40 and the one I have on line 42? Okay, let me get rid of that. Okay, there was nothing there. I just had a space. I like things nice and organized. Okay, the difference is right here, we get the length of the number on the previous line. Here, I called the length -1 within the random number generation. Okay, so big difference. Right here, we get the length, assign it to its value, random monster num. Here, and we just get the say power color cache.length -1. Okay, we didn't assign the length to another variable. We just called that value and subtracted 1 from it to be able to get a random number for this particular array to randomly select a color for that monster. Okay, that shows you that we're embedding things within, even within other methods within the array. Okay, so arrays are very, very, very powerful in that we can embed and nest different types of method calls within these things. Okay, just wanted you to see that. It's a good strategy to know, especially since you will have to be using that here on your own in a little bit. Uh-oh, did I say that out loud? I don't know if I did or not. Sometimes I get mixed up on what I'm thinking inside my head and what I'm saying out loud. All right, next, the ranking cache. Right here we got random1 object, the next integer, so we're randomly selecting something. And again, I did the same thing that I had done on line 42. We automatically just call the ranking cache array length and subtract 1 so we don't go out of that, and we automatically assign a random number to rank or ranking for that particular monster based upon the ranking cache array. And remember, these are all items that we created right up here. Okay, there's the caches. And if you don't know what the word cache means, you might want to look it up. I could tell you, but I think you'll learn more by looking it up on your own. Okay, let's see. I think that's pretty good for the constructor. Don't know if we're missing anything. Let's go ahead and let's test it out. All right, no compile errors. Now, if I run this program, I don't know which IDE you're using. If you're using JGrasp, you'll get this kind of little message right here. It's not a warning. It's just, see the eye, it's kind of like, hey, for your information, there's no main method or the JavaFX applications or applets or any of this other stuff to actually run the program. So nothing's running it. We just create all this stuff and it's saying, hey, it works. Congratulations, you typed up code without any errors, but it doesn't do anything. And we're fine with that because we don't want to do anything. Right now, we didn't want to make any errors. That was the main goal. So if you have any errors, go back and double check all that code I typed in there. Next. And this is fun. I should have told you this a long time ago. Whenever we are working with objects, okay, there's a particular master object, the ultimate parent, the granddaddy, grandma object of them all, okay, and this object has a method called toString, and the toString allows us to print objects. And what we have to do is we have to override that toString object in order for us to be able to print the object properly. If we don't, and we just try to print, we're going to get a lot of errors. You remember from previous videos when we did the, I can't remember which one it was, when I was printing the object the right way and printing the object the wrong way. Okay, this is a different way to doing it, is by creating a public string toString method. Okay, and again, this is something that's already been made by Java. We can't give it a different name. We got to call it toString right here. Well, let's not get into that. Anyhow, so we want to call it toString, and here we're going to tell it what to do. We're going to say the string object called monster info, which we just created right here. We're going to assign it all this value right here. We're going to take the string literal monster name, take the name variable, which is what was at the very top. We put a little line break in here, and we keep concatenating it. Remember, that's what the plus symbol is doing within this particular string right here. It's not adding, it's concatenating. And some of you might say, well, it is adding. It's kind of adding the words to each other. Yeah, you might. That's a good way to think about it, but that's not a good way to say it, okay? We have to be very specific because we're using nerd talk here, so we got to make sure we keep up with our nerd lingo here. So we don't add, we concatenate. Okay, we're going to concatenate all these different variables with these string literals, so that way we got a nice, neat printout whenever we run our test class here in a second. And down here is the cool part. We're returning monster info. We have to return a string value, and we're returning the string of this. We could have just typed up a string and returned it, but that wouldn't serve as much of any use, because it's much more fun to return a string variable because it makes us look really good and we know what we're doing. Okay, so once you have all that, go ahead and compile it. And again, if you run it and you get this message or something similar to that, you're fine. It's just that we haven't made the other part. Okay, now that our monster class is finished, we're going to create the test class for this. And let's go to File, New, Java, and let's go ahead and save it. File, Save As. Find your storage location. Whoa. Wow, why do I keep double clicking on that? All right, so you should be able to find your storage location much faster than I can find mine. And right here, we're going to go ahead and create this one and call it Java RPG Generator. Whoops. Okie dokie. Should have that. And let's go ahead and get started. All right, so we're going to put these classes or these packages right here. Just because I called input mismatch exception, and we didn't use it last time. It's okay to have it there because we'll use it here in the near future. But for right now, I just like having it there in case I randomly decide I want to use it. Some people might frown upon that because it slows your programs down or uses up too much memory, but I'm not too worried about it right now. Okay, we're going to create this class called Java RPG Generator. Hopefully yours is spelled exactly the same as your file name. Remember, the file name, which I have two down here because I have my notes from this program I made previously already up here. So right here, remember your file name, which mine's right down here, has to match the class name. I see that day in and day out where they don't match. Let's see. Next, we want to, I'm just going to copy and paste. This video is getting long and we don't need to make it any longer. Okay, in our main method right here, we are going to create a new monster object, and we're just going to call it monstruo. That's Spanish for monster. So we're creating the new monster object from the default constructor right here. And then right here, system.out.println, we're printing the object. So make sure you have all that and go ahead and compile it, make sure it runs. Mine works good. And we'll run the program, enter the name of the monster. I'm going to call it Rowdy. Okay. And whoa, that was fast. And then right here, it randomly selected all the information for my monster. Its name's Rowdy. It's an ogre, has a trident. Its favorite color, or its power color is blue. It's a rank of 2, has 61 luck, and its strength is 2. Whoa, Rowdy. You're not very strong at all, are you, buddy? Okay, so go ahead and make sure yours runs as well, and in the next video we will build and build and build upon this until we start making something a little bit more advanced. All right, my name's Ryan. Thanks for watching, and look forward to seeing the next video. Well, I guess I won't see you in the video, but you'll hear me in the video, and I'll presume that you'll see my mouse cursor and some other stuff in the video. Okay, so anyhow, I look forward to thinking of you in the next video. All right, talk to you later. Bye.